Hey, how you guys doing? So we had the fourth album release just the other day, and I went and sat down, listened to these songs multiple times to try to finalize my rankings for this album. So we have 12 solo songs, which is quite a lot here. So of course I'm going to then rank them. So first we're going to have the previews, then I'll explain how I feel about them, and then at the end I'll have a poll where you can just click in the description and participate, and we'll see what your guys is. So according to the previews, we had Eieisa being the favorite, and at least favorite being Karin, which quite confused by that. But we'll have to see if that stays true with people being able to listen to the full version. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the previews of each song. Alright, so let's take a look at my current rankings for all of these songs. Keep in mind it's only been a few days, so this could change in the future, but for right now I still kept Ayumu's solo song in 12th place. That is Break the System. Yes, that is very much against what everyone else has been saying, because a lot of people say they really love this song. What was this, like 3rd or 4th from the preview rankings? But honestly, getting the full version didn't convince me that I like the song anymore. I like the instrumentals, and listening to a vocal version of this would be kind of nice to have. I just don't really care for that chorus, honestly. Something feels really off when I listen to it. And I don't know, just like the vocals don't seem to really match the instrumentals. And that's not saying either is bad, because either separate could be pretty good. It just doesn't seem to mend well together for me. And there's not any particular part that I really love about this song. So I feel like this is this major disconnect that I'm having. We got kind of like an anime style song. I don't know if I really think that's the voice that Ayumu was able to do very well. Does that make sense? I just think that's not Ayumu's style, but doesn't mean she can't do it. I don't think it means to say can't do it. I just feel like it's not meant to mix very well, because either still it could be very good. I don't know, there are other songs in this album that has that anime kind of style song, and I just feel like the other ones do it better here. I think instrumentally this is probably one of the better ones, but there's more to that song than that, and I can't get over the fact that I'm not really enjoying myself a whole lot when I listen to the song. It's fine, and I can't really get much past that, and the fact that it doesn't really nail the chorus is probably one of the parts that really brings it down for me. The chorus is one of the most important parts of a song, and if the climax is boring, well then the whole thing is kind of boring, and that's kind of how I feel about it. So I feel kind of let down by this. That's just my personal opinion. Other people have been enjoying it, and that's great for them, but for me, I just haven't been super ecstatic about the song. I usually really like Ayumu songs, but this is definitely not the typical Ayumu song at all. So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it, and I just feel mostly conflicted about it, and I don't feel great about putting it in last. But I haven't felt a great reason to put the other ones, because I just like listening to the other ones more. So now in the 11th place I put Kasumi's for To Be Yourself. Overall, just most sections I find myself enjoying more than Ayumu's. I'm not fully sure what kind of style this song is, maybe anime, whatever, but I feel like there's a better match between the vocals and the instrumentals, at least for me. I think Ayumu's has better instrumentals. Not that this one's bad, but I just find it overall better, and I like the chorus more, and that's kind of important. I don't have a whole lot more to say beyond it, because there's no part of the song that really wows me, but I think it's better than Ayumu's. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Not crazy about it, but I don't have an insane amount of disappointment per se. I just think Kasumi needs to pull the song off a little better. In 10th place, I put Rina's solo song, First Love Again. So Rina's chorus is a love song, obviously, but it's slow. It's kind of a little too slow, to be honest, and not all slow songs are bad. I mean, heck, I like a lot of Kanata songs, even though they are quote-unquote slow. But the problem is, I feel like they didn't do enough instrumentally, vocally, to make it so that it really makes up for the fact that it's a slower tempo. Because I like faster tempo songs usually, but if there's some substance, some interesting instrumentals in the background for me to listen to and enjoy, usually that can make up for it very well. But here I just don't really feel like there's enough. Because like if we listen to some of other Kanata songs, you might have a nice kind of like an accordion in the background, which I thought was a great addition, or you might hear bells. Here I just feel like there isn't enough. I think something that really could have helped this song if they added a little more Rina touch to it, where the fact that she has synthesizers or kind of the electronic games video game kind of sound to it in the back. You know, it doesn't have to be in your face, it doesn't have to be daunting, it doesn't have to only be like an 8-bitty kind of song. I just felt like they could have added a little more touch to it to make it a little more interesting to listen to, and that's kind of where I feel like the problem lies for me for this song. It just doesn't have enough. I think it's fine, the melody, the tempo, it could be faster, but I still enjoy the vocals, this song. But I feel like the other songs are just more interesting for me to listen to. So I put this one in 10th. In 9th place, I have Setsuna's Yada. And man, this is the most confusing to me in terms of the rankings. It was really hard to figure out how I truly feel about this song. There are elements that I really like, and elements I just feel like that kind of missed the mark. I don't really know if Setsuna's the right person to sing this. I get that, you know, she loves anime, but this really feels more like a Rina song. Like if Rina sang it, I just felt like it was so much more fitting. And I part of me is like, I like when characters sing songs that really matches their image. I just feel like that's kind of part, and this just feels a little off. That always seems to bug me. And I love the fact that it's kind of like video gaming kind of sounds, but this just feels a little too cutesy, too goofy, just a tad bit too much. I'm okay with a little bit of that, but this feels like it's a little too much in here, and it kind of just reminds me still of like a kid's video game. Like, that's not like a kid's video game for like 4 years old, and that's not really the kind of game you're gonna go and listen to the soundtrack of. And that's kind of how I feel about that. And, you know, Setsuna's appeal is, of course, you know, Chase probably brings out one of the best appeals that she has. I'm not saying you have to make Chase, but she has that element, that flair, and I just don't feel like it's being utilized in this song. I still absolutely think she can pull off a great video game song, but I felt like they gotta tone back certain elements here and focus on elements that she truly excels at. So, you know, I don't hate the song, even though I might complain about this a lot. Part of me is that because I am a Setsuna fan and all that. I think it's a decent song. I kind of enjoy listening to it, but it's kind of like I'm listening to it, but it hurts just a bit. Part of me does kind of like listening to it. So if I put it at 9, it's not the best out there, but there are elements I do enjoy of it. And I don't know if I really should say this deserves last place, because a lot of people not a huge fan of it. And I kind of have to agree with a lot of people's points and their criticisms of it. This isn't Chase. It doesn't have to be Chase though. But dang, Chase is better. Next up we got Shiriko's song Concentrate for 8th place. And you know, this one is decent, but I definitely gotta say this is my least favorite out of her solo song so far. It doesn't really quite have that Shiriko flair that I come to really enjoy, you know, all those traditional Japanese elements. But of course, looks like generally by the 3rd solo song they try to do something different, and you know, that's fine. This one is kind of that goofy kind of element to it. You know, this one's fast, and it kind of has that kind of, I don't know, fun, almost goofy kind of atmosphere to this song. I think this one is about right in terms of how much it is. It's not too crazy in that, and it's got a fun, nice tempo. Overall, I just find it being a not too shabby song. I just feel like there's a lot of better songs in this album that I enjoy more. I feel like this is more of the average kind of song for me in terms of how much I like it. I probably will listen to once in a blue moon, but not necessarily a whole lot more than that. So next up we have Diabolic Mulier, which this one is interesting. So this is Ai's solo song, and I feel like this is the one that kind of experiments with something very different and probably the most unique out of all of them. And I feel like they're on the right track with this one. It is very different, and you know, you might be able to do this for a Halloween song, which I guess is fitting for this time that's coming out. are elements I find very interesting about this song, and it just feels very different and unique. How like intense it is and such, and I think I does a pretty good job. This is definitely not what I usually listen to or the kind of style I was looking for, but I feel like it is on the right track. I don't know. I feel like it could have been. They could have done a little bit more with it. Maybe build a kind of a more interesting melody or harmony in the background. But I gotta say, I still find it interesting enough to listen to. Now, this is one that I'm unsure how I'm gonna feel about in the future, because this one I listen to a lot because of how intrigued I am by it. I don't know if that's gonna fade away or not in the future, but it is so interesting and unique that I do listen to a lot more, and I do find it interesting, and I kind of like listening to it. I just feel like there's kind of a lack of substance there for me, so this might just quickly fade out. So I don't know. I'm very curious how you guys feel about this song. The intense elements is very interesting, but I don't feel like they go really far with it, and I feel like that's probably my issue on why, you know, it's kind of in the middle here. Now we get to Emma Verde with her song Itsu Datte for You. This one I feel is very much in the style that Emma sings a lot. I feel like this is very fitting for her. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's a little fast, got a nice melody. Overall, a nice, enjoyable experience from Emma. I don't think it really pushes the envelope. I don't think it's my favorite Emma song. But overall, I think it's just a pretty good experience. And I like the chorus. I think that's probably one of the most catchy parts of it. I'm not crazy in love with necessarily the verses, but I think they're fine. So overall, I like this more than the previous songs. I feel like this is where I start really getting to the point where this is where I would be most likely be listening to on my phone. Now, what I mean more frequently than I guess than others, because the other ones are more like maybe once in a blue moon kind of deal. This one's gonna be a little more frequent, probably gonna die down in future once they're not as new, but I think this is a good addition for him, honestly. So now we move into our top 5, which this one is going to be Karin's solo song Turn It Up, and I'm really surprised by the fact that that got 12th in the previous, and I still understand why. I listened to it more, and yeah, I enjoy it. You know, the melody, the chorus is catchy. Especially the chorus, I find it fun. You know, this isn't going to be more like her favorites that a lot of people have, which would be, you know, Starlight and Firebird, which kind of has that cool aura that she has, and you know, that's what Karin's known for. So no, I don't think it's good at those. This is kind of more of the happy, catchy kind of song here, but I still think it's pretty good. But I don't know if that's why maybe people are not amazed by it and just kind of forget about this one, but I still think this one is pretty good overall. In the 4th place, I put Kanata's song Silent Blaze. This one definitely has grown on me a little bit more as I listen out of the kind of anime-esque style songs. I feel this one was my favorite, and you know, that's for both through vocals and instrumentals. I think this one's pulled off the best, and I think, you know, Akarikito pulls it off the best overall. That's not necessarily to hate on the other songs here, but I don't know, part of me just likes imagining, you know, this is Nezuko and she's doing Kimetsu no Yaiba opening or something like that. Maybe that's, I can't get out of the head, and it's why I'm enjoying it more than the others. But I just think she pulls it off the best here, and it's kind of odd thinking Kanata, the one who's sleeping all the time, is pulling off an anime song. I still prefer her kind of original style that we had with My Own Fairy Tale and Mahin Star and even Butterfly, which is not really her style, I guess. But I still think this is a great addition for Kanata overall. So honestly, a little surprised as this moved up a lot more than I was expecting. But I am honestly really enjoying this song. Now we get into 3rd place, which I put Lanzhu's new solo song Mingzhu, or however the heck you say it. I guess it's technically Chinese. So this one, honestly, when I first listened to it, I wasn't that crazy ecstatic about it, but I listened to more and more and more, and I feel like it just has a nice catchy beat to it. It still reminds me of the Lanzhu style, although it kind of misses that oriental traditional Chinese kind of feeling to it. I don't know, maybe this is more what modern Chinese music sounds like. I don't know, but I really do think the beat is catchy and kind of gets your kind of like heart pounding with deep bass and all that. So overall, I think it's pretty fun to listen to. It's not the best out there. I still like Queendom more because it differentiates itself more from what you probably imagine you might listen to, in a typical club or dance floor. As this one kind of seems to really fall into that kind of song, but I still think this one is definitely fun to listen to overall. And in second place, I put Mia's solo song Toy Doll. This one's probably the one that grew on me the most, maybe potentially with Mingzhu, because those two have really grown on me since I started listening to them. First, I was kind of like, oh, that's just another Disney song, and kind of shut it off, but I made myself listen to a lot, and honestly, it's fun, it's vibrant, it's catchy, and I think it's pretty fun, and it's got a nice electrifying energy, and it kind of gets you really pumped up for whatever it's supposed to be paired with. I think Mia Taylor does an excellent job here, and it's got a little bit of that rock kind of punk rock kind of feeling to it, which I think it does very well here. So honestly, I was a little surprised that I moved it all the way up here, and no, it's not because lyrics are in English, but that is nice though. Being able to understand what they say without having to pull out Google Translate is kind of nice. But honestly, this song, I find it pretty fun to listen to now that I've come more accustomed to it. So yeah, I think this one's good. And in first place, and the winner of this album for me is going to be Shizuku's song here with Eieisa. It comes to no surprise to me, and I really didn't think it was going to change, as that was kind of the one I had stand out the most when I first listened to it. And it still very much is to this day. I don't necessarily consider this like a top 50 song for me yet, but this song is fun to listen to. This really matches Shizuku's image, even though this isn't kind of like her slower songs that she had. But I find this fun, and I could totally imagine this being sung, say, in like the theater and the plays about samurais or something like that, or I don't know, an anime samurai opening or something like that. I think this is fun. I think you can really enjoy listening to this, and the fact that it still kind of has that Japanese kind of instrumental oriental kind of feeling is another great layer that I am looking for when I'm listening to a song, and it's just fun to listen to. Shizuku does a great job here as always with her vocals, and I honestly think she deserves first. And I know most of you guys who voted also said first, which I thought I was going to be kind of alone in that, but honestly I think this is a well-deserved first for her. She did a great job here, and I have no problem saying that's my favorite out of this album. Probably not going to change in the future, but who knows, maybe Toy Doll is going to keep growing on me, and Mingzhu as well. So that will conclude my rankings for these solo songs. There's a lot of them there, it's impossible to be infinitely sure this is what my rankings will be in the future, but it's definitely a good guess. I'm sure plenty of you absolutely disagree with me. That's why I put a poll. Go click in the description and pick your top 5 favorite songs in there. Just click the bubble, 1 for being your favorite, 5 being your 5th favorite, and I'll assign point values with most going to first and least going to 5. And then at the end, I'll be able to accumulate all the results and see which song got the most point values, and we can see which one is the favorite out of this album. I didn't do all 12 because it's a lot more work and less people vote because if I do that. So eventually we'll be able to see what people think are the favorites, and we're going to compare it to the preview rankings where Ayumu was definitely the favorite. We'll see if that's still very much true, but I wouldn't be surprised. Breaking System still got around 4th to 5th, which is very much different to what I put at last. So we'll see if I'm just kind of one of those odd ones out when it comes to that song. It probably am. But you know, that's just my taste and whatnot. But let me know what songs you guys like the most in this album, what surprised you the most, and did any of the full version truly change your opinions? It hasn't changed a whole lot of opinions, it's just more exposure for me. It's what I was able to influence my rankings as I listened to more and more and more. And that's why kind of, you know, Emma's dipped a bit, but not because I liked it less, it's just I liked the other ones more as I was able to listen to them more. So that's kind of why I put them up. But let me know what you guys think is your favorites. And if you feel like there's any underrated songs, let other people know, you know. There are some songs that I feel like that are definitely underappreciated or overlooked a lot. So maybe you can convince someone to listen to it, and maybe it might become one of their favorites in the future. I feel like the most underrated, underappreciated one I've seen so far would have been Karin's, because why was that last? Yeah, I don't know about that. But let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. And a shout out to people like Cool Max who support me on YouTube by being a YouTube member. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to catch you guys in another video soon.